How's it going, everybody? How are we all doing today? Today's video, I wanted to go tackle some of the 5 hot Zetas that I think are some of the hottest Zetas right now in the game in October 2020. It's a bit late October, I know, but better late than never, right? So I want to start this list off going over some of the ones that are going to be kind of springing up here shortly with some more Mandalorian content and really just more GL counters in general with how the team functions, the leaderships, the uniques, and everything like that. So I'm going to give you a few of my favorite ones here. I can definitely get some more here for a top 10 list, but I just want to keep it short and sweet, straight to the point with 5 Zetas because I don't think everyone's going to be able to drop 10 Zetas. You know, that's a lot of Zetas, right? So let's start this off with some dark side love. I'm going to give this first one out in no particular order, in no best order. The first one here being Emperor Palpatine. So Emperor Palpatine is really only here because of his leadership. The TM gain is ridiculous, guys. I mean, this guy can counter. At the moment, he can counter the new JML. And that alone, I mean, without having to use, you know, potential Vader, you know, and using the Sith Empire with, what is it, BSF, the Triumvirate, and, you know, getting all those different things off. I think even Darth Revan's in there as well with more fears. And the TM gain there is just so critical. I mean, it's crazy. The biggest part, though, is not just the TM gain, but the fact alone that you can kind of now save your Vader for a different team if you wanted to, because you don't need to have Vader to go with EP. It's not necessary right now. And I feel like that's a big, huge thing right now in a lot of GACs and even TWs is to be able to utilize your Palpatine without Vader. And where is that going to be used? Well, you can still use him with a BSF. You can still use him with a Triumvirate pretty well. If you want to save your Darth Revan, that's definitely a great way to use him as well, because a lot of people like to use their Malaks with Rays right now, maybe a Malak with their Kylos as well. So I do feel like Palpatine is definitely going to be on this list because of his leadership here on the Zeta on the leadership with a more TM gain whenever a debuff is expiring on an enemy. So a lot of TM gain there really fuels some of these counters, as well as the GLs, as well as just some more, you know, non-GL counters and GACs as well. So I think this is a huge Zeta to invest into for the time being. I'm sure a lot of you guys already have it anyways. The next one, though, is going to be Piett. It's going to be some more Empire love here. This is on the Empire, or the Emperor's Trap unique Zeta. I've kind of gone over this one before in previous top 5 hot Zetas that I've done previously. But, I mean, this is, I mean, look at all this text, guys. I mean, it's like a whole-on essay about what this gives you. It's crazy. Pretty much, if you guys have not read this and you don't know what it does, pretty much you get this very thing, this thing at the very bottom. It says Emperor's Trap. As soon as you take a turn, you get more of these stacks, and it keeps on stacking until a non-Empire ally goes or the enemies go. So if you have a full-on Empire team, you get so many crazy stacks of this, which transfer into more offense and potency per stack. So you can definitely see this hitting, you know, a 20-30 range of stacks, which can do amazing damage. Not too long ago, we saw a full-on Relic Trooper team being able to beat an Eternal Empire team. Although that's not with the Malak in there, because if you had the Malak in there, you crit Malak, you get feared, it's not going to work. But that can work versus non-Malak teams, I would say. No fears are going to be just good to go. And that alone is so awesome. I feel like I should do a different video talking about now 4 GLs, the requirements for each, and what teams are going to be made out of those, and which ones out of those 4 are the best ones to go for based off the requirements for it, and what it all gives you. Because I feel like now with the new Luke and the new Emperor, you have now 2 different teams and factions. You have an Empire and you have a Jedi faction, rather Rebels as well. But the Rebels are ridiculous right now, as well as that Troopers with Piett. It's going to be just so fun, you know, whichever way you go here, because you're going to have a crazy Trooper team if you want to go down to the Emperor route, or go for the Rebels and have a crazy juiced up Rebel faction. I mean, it's a lot of fun. But on this fact alone here, for Piett, the Zeta here is definitely mandatory for a lot of different counters for GAC, killing some Rays, Kylos even. And needing that extra offense on your Vader is super critical. If you don't want to use him there and you have a better built-up Trooper team, that's amazing to use him there as well. You can counter a lot of different teams in the game at the moment. So definitely one on this list, I'd say for sure. And we're going to move things over to some more Rebel love. We're going to hit up some Empire. We're going to hit up some Rebels, right? So here's some Rebel love. We're going to talk about Mon Mothma and her leadership here on Alliance Chancellor. So this one is the one that's acting a bit more of like a Geonosian faction, where you have a lot more assists, right? And this is pretty huge into consideration with the other guys you want to have on a team, like a Hoth Rebel Scout or a POW, because a lot more TM will be feeling the team, making them go a lot quicker and a lot more turns functioning and rather firing off in the teams, keeping it a lot harder on defense of a team to counter, as well as a more offensive team if you want to use them on offense to keep the train going. But I would say this is more of a defensive team at the moment. But this is a huge Zeta on her leadership because you get so much more assists. And if she is called into assists, which I'm pretty sure she is, you get a lot more healing as well. So you get a lot more durability here built in. And this is a very, very annoying team to fight if it's built up correctly. This one does pull a very, very good counter, I'd say, for the most part. So this one's more, short and sweet to the point, with the fact alone being a lot more assists happening. And that's very, very crucial for this whole Rebel Fighters team, right? So that's Mon Mothma. The next one I'll go about, we have a couple more I want to talk about, is going to be Commander Luke's leadership, right? This one is very, very, very important right now. And I could really go on to not just this one, but also Learn Control. I mean, these are 3 great Zetas right now in the game, especially for Luke. Because they're all on Luke, right? I mean, you have It Binds All Things, which gives out even more TM to the team. And then you have Learn Control, which is like a mini guard, which is really, really good at the moment, because if you're running a Chupio, you want to make sure that he gets guard for the majority of your battles. And then you can have this Zeta on him, which is a mini guard, so you have more critical avoidance, tenacity, and a bit more of that defense, right? So a lot more stuff stacking here with the Zeta, which is a great one. But and the one I want to go over today is his leadership. This is a very, very, very quick and easy one. I mean, it's the opposite, right, of... Actually, it's not really opposite of EP. It's more similar. You get more TM whenever the enemies resist a debuff, right? So it's going to be functioning here. And what it's going to be doing here in a lot of these counters is giving you a lot more TM off the bat. The biggest one right now, I would say, is to counter the Jedi Master Lukes with those JKR leaderships and the Basta leaderships, as well as even the JKL leaderships. Giving that first shot onto Han and then going after somebody else, like a Gas. And while they have tenacity up or that huge tenacity buffs from Basta leadership, you get so much more resist off the bat, which translates rather into more TM and makes the whole team go so much more faster than the others. And you get so much more turns in, you get so much more control in, and it's just such an easy win, guys. This is such a great Zeta right now. If you don't have a Chupio built up too well, I would still say go for the Learn Control unique Zeta because it's a great one right now. But the biggest one and the biggest impact at the moment is for sure this one. I mean, you can beat her. You can rather counter an Eternal Emperor as well as a Jedi Master Luke team, as well as a lot more teams in the game. I've been going over this team a lot lately, right? This can counter Padme, you can counter Darth Revan's, Gases, a lot of different teams in the game. So this is definitely a great Zeta right now for your teams in your GACs, right? So GAC, great Zeta. I've been using this guy crazy amounts. So at CLS, his leadership with a TM gain is crucial, right? And then the last one I'll go over here in my video today is going to be something to prep you guys for in the next little bit with some Mandalorian content. I've been talking about Greef Karga the last couple months in his Zetas, right? And I want to go over his Sweeten the Deal because this is the only cleanse Zeta, really any cleansing ability for the Bounty Hunter faction that cleanses off debuffs, right? And this is huge for the whole team. But I want to, he's really on this list not only for the Zeta himself and how good it is, but I want to kind of look for foresight into the future with more Mandalorian content we're going to be getting here shortly with the new season 2 of the Mandalorian. So what this one does give you though is a whole on dispel of debuffs on all Bounty Hunter allies, and with let's see here, let's read it again. Dispel all debuffs on Bounty Hunters and allies with payouts active gain tenacity. So it's like a huge ginormous cleanse. On top of that, you get even more health and recovery with protection as well, more retribution. So this is like a huge on cleanse here, guys, and some more TM as well if they have their payouts active. So it's one of the best specials in the game for the Bounty Hunters, I'd say. Such a huge ability here. You need that cleanse, and this guy's the only one who gives it out to the whole Bounty Hunter faction. So this is such a great Zeta, I'd say. And if you want to build up your Bounty Hunters, I mean, these guys can, look in the whole faction itself. They can beat Grievuses, they can beat Padmes if modded correctly. They can beat, I would say to some extent they can beat some Darth Revans as well if they have them modded correctly. So there's a lot that these guys can beat, guys. These are no joke of a team here. You get the Mandalorian built up, you get the Greef Karga built up. These guys are monstrous on the offensive and even on the defensive as well if you have them modded correctly for speed, right? You want to be using here Jango Fett lead for the extra speed, right? And easier contract to get off, as you can see right here. So with all of that being said, though, I guess his leadership's on this one, right? More speed and less. There we go. All that's there. Anyways, that is going to probably be it for my video today. I think these are some of the best Zetas you can definitely give out at the moment. There's 5 of them. You got EP's leadership. If you don't have that one already, get that one for sure. Piett's unique Zeta on the Emperor's Trap. Then you have CLS's leadership, which is amazing. You got Mon Mothma's leadership as well. And then you have, to wrap it up, you got Greef Karga. So there's so many great Zetas right now in the game. And I want to kind of give this out and, kind of put this out there for future reference in what we might get here in a little bit. Maybe some changes to both of the new GLs for Luke and the Emperor. And, which ones at the moment are really, really strong as well, like the Emperor's Trap and the CLS's one. There's a lot of good stuff here. We're going to have to wait, though, for the Mandalorian content. I'm sure we're going to get some more stuff here, but I think to safeguard you, this is definitely a safe Zeta on the Greef Karga. But like I said, that's it for today. Thank you guys for watching. Until next time, I will see you all later. Peace out and have a good one.